expressed concern about how pending legislation regarding high school assessment might impact graduation requirements. Committee members requested additional information about the reliability of high school assessments currently in use, how students are informed of graduation requirements, and concern about changing requirements late in the students' high school careers. The committee deferred action on this proposed policy pending further discussion. Policy 3233, political activity. This policy was withdrawn from first reading for consideration of additional language. Mr. Rubin shared language from the board's previous policy manual limiting staff expression on political, religious, or labor relations matters while on duty in the presence of students. After considerable debate, the committee deferred action on any revisions to the policy pending circulation of a new version from Mr. Rubin incorporating the committee members' concerns and comments. Public Law 2022, Chapter 2. Mr. Rubin updated the committee on this law, signed by the governor in March, that requires child study teams to conduct IEP meetings with parents to address whether their children require any compensatory education to remedy any regression from services not provided during COVID-19 shutdown and subsequent virtual or hybrid instruction. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for the chairman of the Policy Legislative Committee? If not, then we'll move on to item 11, which is approval of minutes. Mr. Laughlin?
Be it resolved that the following minutes be approved as submitted. Business meeting, April 28th, 2022. Executive session, April 28th, 2022.
Second.
I'm with you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is item 12, which is public comments from the floor. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and school matters of community interest. In support of this position, the law establishes a period of public comment at every board meeting. Individuals wishing to speak must state their name and address. Comments are limited to 3 minutes duration, but an individual may speak a second time after all others who wish to speak on the topic have been heard. The board may require that individuals registered to speak prior to the beginning of the meeting. Participants may submit written materials in support of their position. All statements and/or questions shall be directed to the presiding officer, and no participant may address or question board members individually. All speakers are requested to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of others whose legal rights may be affected. Please note, while it is not the board's intention to stifle comment on matters of legitimate concern to the school community, the public should be aware that if their statements violate the rights of others under the law governing defamation or invasion of privacy, they may face personal liability to the injured party. If speakers are uncertain of the legal ramifications of their comments, the board urges them to seek guidance beforehand from their own legal advisor. Is there anyone who would like to address the board?
You can come up to the podium. You just start with your name and address for me, please.
Armand Puar,
I'm sorry, could you spell that?
ARMAAN TUAR.
And your address?
5 Doyle Court.
Thank you very much.
Respected Board of Education staff and members, I hope you are all having a good evening. I would like to share some thoughts with you about one of the staff members here at Theodore Shore Middle School. She has been a person we have all been able to appreciate on a day-to-day basis. Us students extremely value every conversation with her because of how comfortable we feel around her. No matter what, she sacrifices to attend every Happiness Committee meeting, and she provides a safe space to discuss anything bothering us. Every meeting, we're able to get so much done and make such an impact on our community because of the strong leadership she provides. One of the accomplishments the Happiness Committee has made under her wings is donating blankets to Ukraine for the ongoing crisis. As Dr. Frank Granelli wrote in his superintendent's report, Shore students donate blankets for Ukraine. Touched by the stories of family separation, Shore students are to send warmth and comfort to families fleeing violence and war in Ukraine. Through Shore's Happiness Committee, a student-led group aimed at making the Shore school community a happier and more joyful place. Students also examined other wars and areas of conflict and engaged in critical dialogue. Due to her help, we have helped many Ukrainians fleeing violence who are cold and afraid. We have also made a film on how kindness can spread through our tough times during COVID. Lastly, I would like to thank Dr. Mosdell for all she has done for all of us. I hope that the situation clears up and she can continue doing what she has done the best for all of us. Thank you. Any questions?
You may-
Agreeing with what the previous
Sorry, can
person.
you just give me your name and address? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. My name is Jada King. I go to Shore Middle School, and I would just like to I would like to address how underrepresented students of color and students of LGBTQ feel in school.
My name is Jordan, last name Satterthwate. I also go to Shore School in address 35 Michael Street.
Girl, not that. Okay, anyway. Dr. Masdell, she was a representative for all of us, and we just felt like her being fired, like in 6th grade. Well, me and my friends, we were the ones who started the Happiness Committee originally in 7th grade because we felt like students were being unrepresented. How do you say that word? Okay, anyways, yeah, underrepresented because a lot of students during quarantine, they were like depressed and stuff like that. They had no motivation to do their schoolwork. And one of my friends, she had made a post on Schoology about how we all felt and how there should be more groups in school for students to go to talk about how they feel so they can feel more motivated to do their work so they don't fail. And Dr. Masdo came in and she made the Happiness Committee, and besides just depression and people's emotions, she helped us talk about racism and LGBTQIA plus issues. And even when she was here, the Happiness Committee, we did do a lot, but we still felt very underrepresented. And even for people of color too, we didn't get to speak a lot. Even during the panel that they had at Shore, there was more stuff that wanted to be said, even by Catherine, who was another girl on the panel at Shore. And we just felt like now that she's not here, even at other schools, there should be more groups at other schools for students to go to talk about how they feel and stuff.
I feel as if that now that Dr. Masdell is gone, students don't feel as if they have anyone to speak to, because people came to Dr. Masdell as kind of like a getaway because she did deal with the bullying going on in the school, and she made students feel safer So now that she's not here, students might feel as if they don't have anyone really to vent to, and so they will keep their feelings inside. And if she is replaced, students will not feel as if they can talk to the new person because they, are not comfortable with them. And by the time they might get comfortable with them, because Dr. Mazdell has been dealing with us since like 6th grade, since we came to the school. So if they try to like vent to the new person, by the time we get to know them, we'll probably already be in a different school.
And lastly, I would just like to say that, like, students, there was a lot that most students wanted to say, and a lot of students, they weren't even able to join the happiness committee because of how late it was in the year. And a lot of students, like me and my friends personally, we even did stuff outside of the happiness committee to bring representation to what we felt as students, and we still felt like it wasn't enough. And students outside of the school even agreed with us. Even students from the high school told us that, like, we should have approached it, obviously in a safer way, but like they said that what we were doing was right, and that we should have brought it to the high school, and that other schools should be doing it too. And now that Dr. Mazdell's not here, she won't be able to spread it like we tried to.
Is there anyone else?
Yeah. Hi there. Some of you know me, some of you don't. My wife is Nancy Salgado Cowan. My name is Stephen Salgado Cowan, 124 Stanton Avenue. I don't know Ms. Mosdell. I know my child. It's Kai Salgado Cowan, who is a 7th grader in Shore. He identifies as LGBTQ, and he is one of the most remarkable people that I know for how he carries himself. And it's in part due to the people in his life, not just my wife and I, but the people around him. Some of them are in this room. We came to this town 19 years ago, and really haven't looked back and haven't looked for any place else because of what this room looks like. We believe in the inclusion that's here. We believe in the work of people like Dr. Gray. We believe that there is a necessity for people who understand the dynamics that are in this room. It's not an easy thing to do for any person to deal with the things that these kids have to deal with, the things that they've had to deal with for the past 2 years and even before that. So when you find someone who can reach them, when you find someone who they feel comfortable, when you find someone who can identify what their needs are and fill those needs, you hold on to those people. I'm not going to pretend to know all the details. I will tell you, I did have a brief conversation with Moselle when I found out about the Day of Silence and how it was seeming to go based on what my son told me. And what I believe is we need to, in all respects, make sure that we're providing a platform and a voice and an opportunity for everyone to be represented. Again, I don't know all the details. What I do know is it's hard to find good people. It's hard to mentor good people. It's hard to find people to mentor them. So whatever the decisions have been, whatever the decisions will be, keep in mind these kids. I sat here when I came in and I listened to these two young people talk about how that woman impacted them. That's really important. Because if you have kids, I don't know if you've tried to reach them, I know my kid doesn't always talk to me. When you find somebody good, you hold on to them. It's not easy, and you might have to do some extra work.
That's right.
But that's what mentorship is, and it's mentorship here that trickles down to someone else, that trickles down to them, and makes them people that fill seats like these and others out there. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Hi, esteemed Board of Education members. My name is Veda Malayala, and I live at...
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I'm Veda Malayala, VEDA MALYALA, and I'm a seventh grader at T-Shore Middle School here, along with some other students, and I am part of the Happiness Committee. And I'm here to talk about Dr. Musto and how she impacted me and the other students. So she's super nice and kind, and I honestly thought of her as a mentor to me because before in like Arbor we didn't have the happiness committee there, and I joined this year, and I learned so much about what was going on and how there's still people that are unjust, and I learned so much about it, and she taught me to be a better person, and she taught me how to be empathetic, and we have done so many things, like as Armand has said before, we did the blankets for Ukraine, and also this year we're actually working on doing a cookbook for vegetarians to give vegetarians their voices. And we're also now, because of the Day of Silence, a lot of other new students have asked to join or are interested in Happiness Committee, and I'm super happy that that we've impacted like a lot of kids and how they're super interested about spreading kindness and spreading happiness and joy to other students. And so another thing that we did this year, this one was a very long project that we've been working on for a very long time, but so we've had teachers, students, and from the 8th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, and what we put together was a long video about spreading kindness itself through the school. So like, even though we're pretty bad actors, we somehow pulled it together, and we made a pretty good video that we're really proud of, and it's about spreading kindness through the school. And I'm so happy to have met Dr. Massadel, and I don't know where I would be without her. And I really, really think that she is a great person overall, and she's always caring about the students and about the welfare of us. And as Jada King has said before, she's like someone that we can talk to, even if we feel like we can't talk to her like our own parents, you know? Because in the Happiness Committee, we always do like a little check-in about like the good things that happened and the bad things that happened. And we feel like we can share anything. There's nothing really that students say that they're uncomfortable to share, because we're like a group that we're all comfortable with, and we're all very accepting. And it's really hard to find kids and people like that sometimes. And it's just so amazing how Dr. Masdal has shaped a lot of students. And yeah, so thank you for listening to me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Good evening. My name is Mindy Goldstein, 208th Street. Hello, Board. I just wanted to very strongly echo some of the sentiments by the previous parent. Having somebody in school that represents a place for our LGBTQ students to go is absolutely one of the most vital things and one of the most life-saving things that you as a board could do to retain these people. I'd like to remind you how my school year started this year. My son, who identifies as transgender, was told by a teacher that he was not allowed to change in the boys' locker room. And, you know, at the time I remember speaking with people in this room and saying that my son's okay, because he knows that he's loved and supported at home. I picked him up, I took him home, he knew he was loved, and he was able to go back to school and be okay. But there are kids that hurt themselves, literally kill themselves over things like this, because they can't go home and talk about what had happened. Having somebody in our schools that vitally understands this and will support students in the long road that we don't even, or I don't even, as a straight woman, understand. I can love and support my child, but I can't pretend to be in his shoes. Somebody that will support all of that is really life-saving, and it's something that I really hope that you value more than somebody who, maybe doesn't fill out their reports properly, because that can be coached and that can be trained. Somebody that doesn't necessarily say all of the right things in the company of other adults. Let's prioritize what's really important here, and that's our children, and that's keeping them safe and keeping them happy and keeping them healthy. And I'm just, I'm the same as the previous parent. I don't know Dr. Mosdale. My child is a freshman at the high school. He went through Crippletown. So I can tell you, though, that this incident that happened at the beginning of the year was really his only incident that he had with a teacher that was aware that he was transgender. And so that's sad. That's sad that was his experience. And again, he's okay, because I love him, and he knows it, and he's great. But there are kids that aren't going to have that, and I really, really, really urge you to think about that very strongly before we're faced with a really tragic situation. So, thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Yes. Hi, I'm Sherry Wolf. The address is 11 Stone Street in New Brunswick. I'm here today in my private capacity as a lesbian educator, an activist, and author. I'm not here in my professional capacity as the senior organizer for the Rutgers Faculty and Grad Union. But if there isn't a decision that goes in favor of Dr. Mosdale, I feel that I will be back here with many of my friends and colleagues and comrades to see you again, because then we're talking about a labor issue. I'm hoping that I'm having a conversation with people who are simply unaware of what you're doing. This district is firing, that is to say, not giving tenure to one of your most successful teachers in a school, in a middle school, towards the, hopefully we hope, it's the end of the pandemic, that has tormented all kids, especially queer kids. I wish when I was a kid growing up that I had a Dr. Mosdale to create a day of silence protest to commemorate what had happened before, to actually acknowledge our existence and give and validate our lives. The fact that she exists and has those relationships makes the work that Dr. Gray does possible. All that diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives that you're spending money, time, and energy on is a total waste if you do not have a vanguard, a front line that the kids actually trust and will talk to and will listen to them and will respect them and will reflect their values and their desires and their ideas and their passions and put it out there and give them love and care and nourish them so that they're not doing damage to themselves and harming themselves or silencing themselves. What is happening in this district right now is perverse. You are literally silencing someone who organizes the Day of Silence. Somebody who organizes against bullying is being bullied. However unintentional it is, the impact of your decision of not granting tenure to Dr. Mosdale and allowing her career to continue with these kids and so many others, this is who turned up on 24 hours notice. I want you to know that. There is great and deep opposition to what is happening in this district. This is a taste, this is a whiff of it, okay? You don't want to go down this road, because I'll tell you what it smells like to me. Whatever the intention, it smells like bigotry. When you shut down a curriculum being taught around LGBTQ rights. And when you silence the Day of Silence and the people who've organized it, you tell the students and you tell the teachers and you tell the community that if you raise your voice and dissent for whatever reason, and you say something that may sound controversial, then you will be silenced by this board. And I don't think that's who you are. I don't think that's who you want to be, not having sit through the last hour here. That doesn't appear who you are. But that's how you are acting. That's how this action is going to be read and understood by the wider community. Make no mistake, you have some work to do. You have some thinking to do, and you have some listening to do tonight. Because the impact of this decision will be real on kids' lives, in particular queer kids. And we know what's going on. There is a mental health crisis in this country. Don't contribute to it. Help these kids, stand with them, and stand with Dr. Moselle, and reverse this ridiculous decision.
Hi, I'm Kai Salgado Cowan. I am a 7th grader at T-Shore Middle School, 124 Stanton Avenue. I, as a queer student, have faced many biases throughout my school life. I think since I've been in school, I've faced people. I've gone into the bathroom. I present very feminine. I've gone into the bathroom. People have told me to get out because I'm not supposed to be in there. I have faced people calling me the F-slur multiple times. I have not been educated in LGBTQ history until I met Dr. Mosdell. She taught us what has been happening and what is still happening in our country. I don't think I learned anything until we met her. I was pushed off a bench in 5th grade because I was looking feminine. I went to the counselor and I didn't trust her. I didn't want to talk about how I felt because she didn't talk about why I was pushed off the bench, why that happened to me. Dr. Mosdell would talk about that with me. She would tell me why it happened, and we would get through how to fix that. I think that she deserves to stay, and she needs to stay for many reasons. Yeah, thank you.
My name is Grace Ulick. The address is 222 Grant Ave. I'm an 8th grader at Theodore Shore Middle School. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of Dr. Mosdell. I just want to point out that Dr. Mosdell has helped and supported so many people, me included. She helped me when I was at my lowest last year, and whenever I don't know who to talk to, I always go to her. She's educated me on the LGBTQ and Black community, and I've learned so much from her that I haven't before I met her. I've learned a lot from the Happiness Committee as well, and I've been in the Happiness Committee for about a year now. Because Dr. Mosdell is the head of the Happiness Committee and the Anti-Bullying Club, I don't think that anything would be the same without her. She's a really hardworking, caring, and compassionate person, and she's so determined for what she wants for herself as well as the school. She's played a really special role in my life. I can't imagine Shore without her. She's like a friend of mine. I've never felt that with a teacher or a counselor before. Sometimes I've walked into her office like crying because I just didn't know what to do about something, and all that I needed was a talk with her because she's really understanding and she's never failed to help me feel better. She has a really calming presence, which is like a breath of fresh air to me. yeah, she's a really special person who I love and adore, and I wish the best for her because she really does deserve it, and I believe that she's changed lives at Shore School.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
comments.
Hi, I'm third Salgado Cowan. Nancy Salgado Cowan. I'm at 124 Stanton Avenue, Piscataway, New Jersey. So we've heard a lot from many people about Dr. Mazdell. What has touched me personally as a pediatric provider is the children. I don't want to get choked up, but, what are we having schools for? What are we educating children for if not to have a safe and healthy environment that is encouraging and that is inclusive, not just on paper, but in real life and in real time?
That's right.
And, talks to all different types of diversity, not just the color of our skin or where our culture is from, right? So when you have a person, and what I have to talk to you about is only what I've heard from the children, because I personally do not know Dr. Mazdell other than from my child. And what I've heard from the other kids here, like my husband said when we sat down, the children had much to say. And the fact that these 7th and 8th graders are sitting here and listening to a whole, meeting that doesn't really probably interest them, but are so dedicated to this individual, as stated by my husband, as stated by other parents here. There are certain things that can be coached, that can be helped, that can be instructed, but you can't change somebody's heart, okay? What's inside your heart, what's inside your gut, that is the essence of that person, and I'm hoping that each and every one of you take a moment and check your gut, okay? Because what's on paper might look a certain way, but what's really inside is what matters, and she's actually spreading happiness, joy, acceptance, and so much more. Confidence. I mean, these things will trickle out for years and years and years to come. So please take into consideration not just the reports that you might have in front of you as, board members you're privy to, but also the heart of this district, of these children, of the future of this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Yvette Jordan, Yvettejordan, and I live at 47 Wilbur Avenue. I am a teacher. I'm also chairperson of New Caucus, which is a social justice caucus of the union that I am in. I'm here to shed a different light for you and to really share some things I know. I'm a